Well, welcome to KjmO, JonnY Dark Night Radio, and I just got a note from my vet because we're kind of friends, and she knows about my situation with my lymphedema and my legs being pretty bad, and this hole in my foot and stuff that it's getting hole in my foot that's getting better. But anyway, I'm off to the wound care clinic today. The hospital is about 30 miles away, and I just pray to God they don't hurt me. They're supposed to, help me, but I've been to these places and they've actually, one nurse just tore the bandages off my skin. I mean, and I yelled, and she said, well, hey, don't do that. We have other patients here, trying to get it together. And I thought, you bitch. You're tearing the bandages off my goddamn skin, you fool. Of course I'm going to complain, you know. And then another time, my doctor I really like a lot. She's really cool. In fact, she has a huge python, which I used to keep snakes when I was a kid. It's named, what's that famous Led Zeppelin song? Kashmir? Yeah, Kashmir. Anyway, that's the python's name. Big Indian python. Must be like 15 feet. She has to feed it rabbits every couple of weeks, which I quit. I can't deal with that anymore. We had to feed the snakes, rats, and mice, and sometimes had to kill the rats ourselves. Now they have, mice on ice, rat parade or whatever. They have these animals euthanized, ready to go for snakes. I guess a lot of people prefer to feed, and then they warm them up in their microwave to feed them. I can't deal with that shit anymore. No way. I have, do I have any animals that eat meat here? I don't think I do. They're all, I think, passerine animals. Animals that are prey for animals that do eat meat. But anyway, so this letter was about, hopefully she said, you're my feet or better. And I said, if the world's attitude was different towards narcotics, or had been that way 50 years ago, and it was different. I mean, years ago, heroin was in, it was sold, legally in places. And, I think my great-grandmother was addicted to opium. Now, my cousin doesn't seem to want to believe that, but, she was kind of sickly, I heard, and this was in Nebraska, and her husband was a train engineer, and he would go off, traveling, so whatever. Anyway, I don't know, I wasn't there, but they used to use something called paregoric, and junkies used to like that. Uh, and then later on, things like that, like in 1979, I was turned onto this thing called Tussionex cough medicine, and junkies really liked that a lot, and then they realized that was going on with it, and then they put a time release thing, which then you just had to drink twice as much of it, which was too bad because it just meant you had less. But I actually had a doctor when I lived in Holland. I came up with a scheme. I know I shouldn't be talking about this. It's crazy. But anyway, I did have a deviated septum from this accident in New Orleans when I got hit in the head with a car, head-on collision, and so I used this to my advantage. And I said, well, I'm in Holland and they don't have this medicine, and can you please send it? Plus, it was an old family friend, which was terrible. I just took advantage of the whole situation. But that's what junkies do. And then, so anyway, he would write me a script for like pints, which is at 16 ounces, I think. And so I would get this pint every couple months or something like that, which anyway led to my involvement later on in Holland with heroin and stuff, and later on actually losing the Royal Burnside gig related to that. Ariel was not too thrilled about that. Anyway, but we got past that, and he was my friend until the end. However, my attitude, or I told Dr. Maris, my vet, I said, well, if the world's attitude was different, or had been years ago, or it continued to be like it was years ago with opiates, in regards to opiates, and they used to put cocaine and Coca-Cola and things like that. If all drugs, basically, is what I'm saying, were made legal, and I know I've talked about this in other radio shows. But I'll just talk about it again because I'm going to this clinic, and this nurse wasn't the only person that hurt me. The doctor actually did the same type of thing, and Annie and I said, hey, this is really, I kind of just involuntarily yelled, and then all she did was she got really quiet. Like, they don't want to be, told like they're doing something wrong. Even this really cool snake python having doctor just did not like that, but I will tell them to, anyway, I'll tell them to be very careful today, because it chased me away from the wound care people for a few years, but I'm getting better, and I just thought, okay, the doctor insisted that I go there, I'll do it now, but they gotta be careful. And anyway, my point is with all this, if the world's attitude was different about narcotics now, or it would be different, but I think what it was that too much money was involved in all the various governments, and they wanted to control it in a way where it would be illegal and the profits would be way high, for people, certain people. I think I even, in the far reaches of my memory, recall something to do with a CIA person I didn't know exactly, but I knew about, and it had, involved with smuggling heroin into the country, or it was, money for arms, different things, wherever their money is that they get from these, or how they do it, and I have no idea, but I just know they want it illegal, and that it will never be like sold like where we have now, like weed in stores that you can just buy weed, not for medicinal purposes, but just straight up buy weed. Unfortunately for me, the weed, I used to love it when I was a kid, like 14 or 15 and a little older, but as it got stronger, and I liked harder narcotics, I liked that much more than weed, and for me, the weed and related cannabis type things, it's gotten way too strong for me. I know there's stuff that you don't have to smoke stuff that, or take stuff that's that strong, but and there's so many different strains, it's mind-boggling. I mean, I just simply like, when I smoked it years ago, I liked Jamaican dope. I thought that was the best, and then Oaxaca, or Thai stick, but we sat around and smoked it socially and enjoyed it, went to classes at school, things like, or wrote, stories, music, but now it just seems like if you take a little more than than you want to, you're just like a blind dummy, Well, you're deaf, mute, and blind, At least that's what I feel. So, it's just not something that I like. I guess for me it kind of works opposite, Something like the weed thing, that would be considered a hard drug for me, and an opiate like opium or heroin would be considered a soft drug. It's kind of like, opposite sides of the same spectrum. Would you call it that? Hell if I know. Anyway, I ain't doing any of that stuff. Except I am on buprenorphine still, and that I'll stay on for a while longer because of the pain, and I will hopefully get off that in the next year and quit vaping soon. I would like to see what it's like to not be addicted to anything. I'm just curious, because I don't know if I've ever been that way. Because, when you're a kid, at least for me, I had a big sugar craving, and you start when you're just a child, we used to walk to the 7-Eleven, those convenience stores, and in those days they didn't care if 6 or 7-year-olds could walk anywhere. Nobody's going to pick them up. Well, at least we didn't think, their parents didn't think that way, and I guess it's a different deal now. Parents got to be much more paranoid. But whatever, we go, candy thing. I'm just saying that's sort of like the gateway drug, with sugar, caffeine, nicotine, all those things that are widely available and were very cheap at the time. Cigarettes were 35 cents a pack. Anyway, that's a buzzer for some garlic bread in the back. Speaking of opposite schedules, I'm eating dinner in the morning and breakfast at night. Huh, well, it's kind of like a song I wrote called Snakes in My Coffee, because like there's snakes in my coffee and whiskey in my cream. So I would suggest that. If y'all want a good drink, have some of that. Okay, thanks for listening to KjmO, Johnny Mo, Dark Night Radio. And by the way, while you're drinking that whiskey in my cream, well, I didn't we do? I did a song with that. Yeah, I did that harmonica song with that. Right, check out that. It's a few videos back, and it's a great drink. You just got to get it right, but make sure there's somebody in the soybean field with a 44. Well, no, I got the 44. He's looking at my life and my women and all that kind of stuff. So I'm the one with the 44. Anyway, the song was a few videos back. Have a fine night, morning, evening, or day, wherever you're at. And if I'm rattling a little bit, yeah, I'm a little nervous. I gotta go to this goddamn wound care clinic later on. And first thing I'm gonna say is, you all better not hurt me, because if you do, I got nowhere to turn, because I got an opiate blocker stuck on this buprenorphine. So, just be cool and be careful. And you all do the same. So this is Johnny Mo signing out on this fine Tuesday morning. And we'll see y'all next time on KjmO, Johnny Mo Dark Night Radio. Bye bye now.